All right, we back once again, the Novice Sports Show, a show where three guys came together organically to talk about sports from a novice point of view. Now, like I said, of course, like we always say, please like, share, subscribe, leave comments so we may interact. And of course, our catchphrase is you can leave a comment. We might read it, but then again, we probably will not because we got day jobs, right? We blow up, we got 10 million followers. We'll read comments all day and interact with y'all. But until then, we're gonna jump into our intros. We got
AJ.
we got
Jay.
we got A-Dub. So of course, right now, basketball is king. You got the NCAAs and you got the NBA jumping off. And we just a couple weeks ago had the All-Star game. And of course, I heard some rumblings from them back in the past, a Shaquille and maybe a Kenny Smith, and maybe some other players that got bad knees right now and they overweight. And they talking about these guys ain't got no gumption. These guys ain't got no competitive flavor. They much rather let them dudes dunk on them than what? Take them to the ground like they used to back in the day. So what y'all got to say about those attitudes about people saying the league is just too soft?
So look, back in the day when you could get away with clothesline and people when they came down the lane and you could, knock somebody into the fifth row
Punch him.
and you wouldn't even get a flagrant foul called. The NBA got rid of that for a reason, right? Because all it was doing was the guys that had the skill that people wanted to see were getting killed. And the dudes that were thugs with no skill, no ability, the only thing they had going for them was being a big enforcer dude, tough guy. Nobody wanted to see that, right? And so as much as we talk about, oh, they were tougher back then, blah, blah, blah. No, they really weren't. The game was uglier. You had a couple dudes that the NBA really, really focused on that had skill. Everybody else, not so much. And so the NBA was like, yo, everybody wants to see the skill guys. Everybody wants to see the moves. So if we clothesline Michael Jordan every time he comes to the paint, that's hurting us, right? So they got rid of that for a reason. Now I get it. The old heads are salty because the times are just different, right? If you had switched roles and these guys had been back then,
saying the same thing.
it'd be saying the same thing. They're mad because, hey, I'm in the Hall of Fame. I got so many rings. I got this, I got that. And I didn't make any money. These dudes are making more money in high school and college than I did in a 10-year NBA career. So they're a little salty about that, right?
NBA career.
These kids are just so much more skilled. And the game has just moved away from the just physicality and brute force. The things that made people, look at the dunk contest, right? The dunks that people did in the dunk contest that were getting 10s, there's dudes at the YMCA gym that are doing those dunks now.
Matter of fact,
right?
Matter of fact, he dunked last week.
Don't tell anybody though. Try to keep it quiet. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just different, right? And then you add the money to it. The guys get to All-Star break now. They're already richer than they've ever imagined.
Right.
Their bodies are beat up. You can say what you want. They do load management or whatever. It's still a physical game. You're still running and jumping. You're doing all those things. So they get to All-Star break, and the culture now is All-Star break means the celebrities come to town.
Mm-hmm.
It's a party.
Yeah.
Maybe back in the day, All-Star break was still celebrities came to town, but now East, we hate the West.
Right.
We're going to go at it. We're going to battle. We're going to do this, do that. It's just not like that anymore, right?
Yeah,
so
there's no more friction within
conference.
Yeah.
Friction, but see, as you stated earlier, or we stated, they all train together. Literally, some of these, they've known each other since they were 10.
Yeah.
The same, I played AAU ball in California. Oh, they flew me out from South Carolina all the way to California to come play with you so we could be on this mega team.
Yep.
Then of course it's the same thing in college. Where you going? Oh, I'm gonna go to St. Bonaventure Christian. So let's go together.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I get drafted, you get drafted. We still friends. It ain't like it used to be, because it's be like, was it Bird did not want to film a commercial with Michael because
with Magic.
Magic because we were rivals.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to give you nothing.
Yeah. And again, it's just a different time, right?
Yes.
Because take that example. Magic was smiley.
Yeah.
Now on the court, he was super competitive,
Right.
but he was cool with being cool with Bird.
Yeah.
Bird was like, nah, I don't even want to be
In the same room.
friendly. I don't even want to be, don't even smile at me.
Mhm.
So, Magic is one of the dudes now talking about how they're not competitive now.
Yeah.
They were talking about you back then.
Right.
Do y'all remember him and Isaiah Thomas grew
Yep.
up together? They were buddy. And do you remember what they used to do before games? They used to kiss each other on the cheek.
Yes, and everybody, yes, they did.
People used to roast them to no end.
We used to say some things.
Yeah. Now, as soon as the game got started, the Lakers and the Celtics were going. I mean, the Lakers and the Pistons were going at it.
Oh,
Right.
it was ugly.
But people were like,
Ugly.
"What's up with Magic and Isaiah?"
Trying to
Like,
kill each other.
yeah.
It's-
And so it's like now, number one, you don't have those, like you've said, those natural rivalries anymore,
Mhm.
where just because I'm the Lakers and you're the Celtics that we hate each other.
Yeah, there's no
It's
friction.
kind of fake. You can kind of, they'll show old clips where the Lakers and the Celtics were supposed to hate each other.
Rambus gets close.
Yeah.
Gets fighting in the corner.
But now it's not the same.
Do you think that it's because, not the sole reason, but it's because of the effect of like it being more of a players league? Because even with the coaches, they don't even hate each other.
Well, see, you got to remember though. So back then, right? Because there's players move around more than they did back then.
Right.
Literally, when you think about it, in our era, back in the early 2000s and 90s, I mean, I think Shaq was the first big player to like leave.
Well, people would leave
But yeah.
when your contract
Was
ended.
up,
Right.
yeah.
But free agency wasn't like it is
Yeah.
now, where you could just
Bounce
people
around.
just moving around.
Because like I said, because that goes to, it's hard for me to hate you when I know I'm gonna be playing
Playing
with
with
you.
you. Right. Exactly.
That's the kicker, right? It's easier for me to be like, I really don't like you because I've been staring at you and you've been stopping me from getting to the championship game for the last 4 years. Then you know what? My contract's up. I think I'm gonna go play with them.
Yeah, look at back in the day, right? So, the Pistons.
Yeah.
That core of the Pistons stayed together.
Oh,
There was one kind of big trade, which was like Dantley and Aguirre.
yeah.
That was really it.
Or Wallace.
No, that's way
That's-
later.
that's
yeah.
way-
Oh,
way
you talking about
later.
back
No,
in the
yeah,
okay. I thought you were talking
Bad
about just in
Boys.
general.
No, Bad Boys.
Okay.
The Lakers, right?
Okay.
That team was that team.
Yeah.
And then, you take out one player, bring in another player, but the core was the core.
Yeah.
Celtics, like all of those great teams back
Right.
then. So you had a 10-year deal where you knew who you had, and minus like a rookie coming in here or there.
Mhm.
In the 90s, it changed a little bit because
Yeah.
you had like Horace Grant leaving
Yeah.
the
Chicago
Bulls
Yeah.
and Rodman coming in.
Yeah.
But you still had your core that kind of stayed in place.
Yeah. Because he went to the Magic.
Then later on is when it got the late 90s and the 2000s when it changed. So Shaq was at Orlando. They had a great run.
Then he went to LA.
He was a free agent. He decided, I'm going. Basically, he said what LeBron did. I'm going to take my talents to LA.
Right.
He was as big a name. He was the biggest name, the free agent. And he said, and people were like, yo, man, your team made it to the finals. Like, why leave?
Literally, he left.
Yeah, he wanted the big stage, the bright lights, the movies. You remember Shaq did the movies,
Yep.
Mm.
the commercials, the
Yep.
rap. He
Yep.
did all of that stuff
Big
back
fan.
then.
Yeah.
And
Dancing.
but you won't hear Shaq talk about that with
Or-
him.
Yeah.
He'll talk about these dudes leaving and moving. Now again, it wasn't like he teamed up with a superstar or anything like that. He left for that,
Right.
Exposure.
Big market
exposure in the
exposure, yeah.
market.
Yeah,
But-
that's the same thing now though. But see, with social media, these kids can have coming. I mean, literally going into college, league, whatever. They got 10 million followers.
Yeah.
So they already making that endorsement money and doing the thing. So like I said, like we said earlier, it's changed. Social media has changed all of that.
But it's also, I think you talked about how the players train with each other now.
Yeah, they do that.
It's all of like, who knows who.
Yeah.
Like, well, I know you work with him and you got his jump shot better.
Yeah.
Let me come over there and see what
Yeah.
I can do.
Yeah.
Now we didn't became or
Friends.
created a relationship
Yeah.
to where it's like, maybe in the future I want to play with you
Right.
as opposed to against you.
Yeah, but that's how Miami formed their team. Hey, come play with me, right? When they did the big three.
Yeah.
"Hey, come
And you
play
got
with me."
to think about it, they all came in the same draft class
Right.
together. They played AAU either
Yeah.
against each other or with each other.
Yep.
And so it's like those relationships were already built.
Yeah.
So when everybody's a free agent at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and
You
the
gonna call your
rules
boys
are
up.
and the
Yeah.
rules are different now, where you can go where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, don't give me this like Jordan would have never done it or Kobe would have never done it. Because yes, you would if you had the chance. I'm not saying, it's your heated, like
Right.
you hate each other. You got in a fight last week. Now you're buddy, you want to play together. I'm
Nope.
saying
Nope.
you got a relationship with this dude. You're trying to win championships, right?
Mhm.
I'm sure LeBron had some dudes that he is really close with that weren't that good. He won't saying, "Hey, let's go play together."
Right.
You want to win, right? And so then the idea then is you put together the best team you can put together.
Yeah.
Some teams it works out where the draft works.
Other
Some teams
don't.
it works out where you got to do free agency. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So you do what you do, but the end goal is to win.
So what you got on that?
But I also feel like things have become political
What do you mean? Okay, so what do you mean when you think political?
to the extent of I don't, let's say you play for a team and I play for a team in the same conference, but I'm like, I would go there because they're paying me. I do want the money, but I don't appreciate the organization and what they do with their talent. So why would I go there?
See, you think people doing that?
No,
I think
no, okay,
I
so
think so. I think it
I wouldn't say political. I would say it becomes more strategic on the player and such. And of course, you also have to look at the owners, because a perfect example, what you're talking about is Pat Riley and Jimmy Buckets. I want my money, son. You don't play when we want you to play, or trade me.
but not even that. Like
You know,
I wouldn't want to. There's no disrespect to them, but
yeah.
I wouldn't want to go to Charlotte because
Yeah, but see,
we're not having a good development
But
over there.
if you got a chance to make 300 million in Charlotte and 100 million in Miami, you gonna take the 300 million and go to Charlotte.
Depending on the type of player I am, yes, but I think I would.
Well,
Yes.
what I'm saying is, I'm saying 300 million versus 100 million or
Leave
versus
a 200
50
on it,
million.
right?
Like, if it all things being equal, yeah, you could go where you want to go. But players today, man, you got to get your money when you get a chance to get your
It's
money.
about setting up your family
Now,
for a long
once
time.
you've made your money, or if the money is equal, then maybe that's what
Whatever.
you're looking at.
Yeah,
But if Charlotte is offering you 300 million and this other
Gotcha.
team is offering you, 70 million,
See, and
you better take that.
you're right.
300
You're right,
million.
and especially if they're like, well, we think you're the missing piece, or hey, we want you to showcase your talent. You can come over here and take 30 shots.
It was like, or remember though, you got those owners do play a role in that too, because they'd be like, don't offer them 30 mil, don't offer them this, because they say they don't do it, but sometimes you'd be like, dude, really, nobody made you an offer but your team.
Well, but you got to think about it. That's the agent's job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that
So
is
the agent, but the contracts are slotted. Like you can't make the supermax unless you've been this many
Right, these
all
certain accolades that
NBAs
you-
or whatever,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So they can't just give anybody anything.
But if
But if you got a good agent, the agent's job is to get you the best deal possible. And if
Right.
that means you're going to Utah, he says, son, get your winter coat ready. We're going to Utah. If it means you're going to Miami where you really want to go, then cool. But that part of it is like if the team is offered, the team wants you, and the agent can get the money you want, and it's the place you want to go, then that's a win-win.
And I also feel like the media has kind of shifted the perspective on viewing players to the extent of with Magic or Mike. It was about championships and the talent that they had, as opposed to now it's like he's a top 10 talent. We don't care if he hasn't gotten any championships.
But you have to remember though, the goal behind that is they gotta have stories. So in order to maintain the viewership throughout the league, you just can't wait till June and say, yeah, we're gonna talk championships.
Right.
So that's part of it too, like I say, because if you don't have enough, think about it, we hardly watch it now. Right, because I don't start watching it until
Playoff time.
Because I'm like, okay, well, but I don't want to watch this, even though the story, oh, Ant-Man got suspended.
Mhm.
Oh, you're like, okay, what did he do? But I really didn't read the article. I just read the headline, he got suspended. Okay.
Well, that's another whole piece to the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Ratings, NBA ratings are way down from what they used to be.
Mhm.
And we talked about this in other shows where it's not just so the NBA is built on what star power, individuals. NFL is based around teams.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter you a Cleveland Browns fan, they
Right.
stink, but you a Cleveland Brown fan, no matter who they end up with, right? So the ratings, I think, are still kind of consistent because of that. NBA, if your favorite player is LeBron
Yeah.
and LeBron has switched teams 3 times, your loyalty goes with LeBron
As
more than it
opposed
goes
to
to
the
the
team.
team, right?
Yeah.
Now, back in the day when you didn't have that player movement, you were kind of stuck, right? So my favorite player plays for the Pistons. He's going to be with the Pistons, so
Yeah.
I'm a Pistons fan.
Yeah.
And there were a lot more like natural rivalries because you naturally get those when you play against somebody that many times.
Yep. Because somebody's gonna foul you and you ain't gonna like it.
But now it's just like what we talked about with the whole women's basketball thing. The stats that Caitlin put up were great. People have put up stats before. But when you had the good versus bad, the black versus white, the championship, that whole animosity,
Hero.
that's when everybody wanted to watch.
Yeah, the
We
story.
don't have that in the NBA anymore.
There is none. I mean, because
You know, the last time we had it was Cleveland, LeBron versus the Warriors.
KD, and the Steph.
Even before KD,
Okay.
because they
okay.
played each
Right,
other
for a while.
like nine
Nine,
times in a
yeah.
row, it felt like, right?
Yeah.
And so you knew we don't know how it's going to get there, but by the end of the season, it's probably going to be these two teams.
Yeah.
And so you had a little bit of a rivalry. Now, that's still not Celtics, Lakers, or Bulls, Pistons,
Yeah.
but that's kind of the closest thing we had, right? Where it was interesting, get star players and teams that were going to be battling, right?
Yeah.
So to add into that, but it's a question. Do you think that the expectation of winning has watered down?
Yes.
No. Really, you think?
Because think about it. How many players, beginning of the year, how many teams went into this season thinking we're gonna win a championship this
That's
year?
what I'm saying.
Well,
Not very many.
We talking about for basketball.
Yeah.
for basketball.
I'll say this.
For basketball.
I think, okay, I understand what you're saying and I get your point because certain teams just ain't good. Right. But as a athlete, you always want to think you have the potential to be on that stage at the end. I don't know how many teams say it's realistic, but when you talk to them and you listen to them, but in training camp, everybody's goal is the same.
Everybody's goal is the same.
Right.
But listen, at the beginning of this season,
Like
you can say what you wanted. You can say what you wanted. The Charlotte Hornets were not talking about winning championships.
Right. Because like certain teams, like they'll lose 5 in a row the first couple games within the season. Then it's like, oh, we're tanking for the number 1 pick already. Like, how are we already hearing those type of rumors?
Well,
And the season just started.
Well, that's because people talk and they want to drum up news. Because,
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, okay, let's take Detroit when they went on their losing streak, and you say if you're gonna be great at
Be the greatest
be the
loser ever.
greatest loser ever. So if you already out 28 games,
And you need 29
you
for
need
the all-time
29,
record.
just go for it. But at that point, your season is shot.
Right. But how much of
No,
the
so what I'm saying is
Go
this,
ahead.
all right. So if you know your season is shot, any franchise, that means ticket sales is going to drop,
Right.
viewership is going to drop. So you got to say, you know what, we are quote unquote tanking. Somebody's gonna put that rumor out there, so it gets in the media and the news, creates a story. So now they may not be watching your game, but they coming
Right.
in your press
Right.
conference.
But I think AW, you were trying to say it earlier.
What?
How much of the responsibility do we not put on the players and put on the organizations? Because
Well,
I've seen interviews where
Well-
players are like, well, we've came into the facility and they're saying,
Mhm.
let's win, but they're not doing the necessary things
Well,
to
I mean,
put us in position
But
to
every
Every
franchise,
it's
I mean, like every
Yeah.
franchise doesn't have that.
Genesis Quad,
Again, I keep going back to Charlotte, right? Free agents just don't come to
the
Charlotte.
Washington Wizards.
So the best you can do is build the team the best you can and hope for the best, right?
Mhm.
Hope you get lucky on the draft pick. Hopefully you get, a team that works well together.
Mhm.
You're not one of those teams that can just, attract the free agents and then build your team that way. So like Phoenix, they ended up with 3 stars, right? They came there because they wanted to try to put something together. They didn't go to Charlotte. They're not going
Right.
to Utah, right?
or
So-
Washington.
And so think about this too. If you're 19 years old and you got $100 million, I don't know exactly what the contract
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
$100 million contract.
4 years, 25
Right.
million. Yep.
All right. Everybody isn't built the same way where you're thinking about 1, being the greatest player ever,
Right.
or
right.
2, winning championships. So a lot of people are like, my goal is to make the league and set my family up
I'm
financially.
trying to get out the hood.
Right?
Mhm.
You've made it. All of these players in the league, how many of that? 300? They have all done that.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say the majority of them are good. Now, if you get a chance to win a championship, nobody's saying, nah, trade you
Yeah.
to a bad team.
Right.
Nobody's saying
Saying,
that.
let's do it. Let me
They're
see
saying,
it out.
yeah, I'm all aboard.
It's working.
And that ring looks good on you, right?
Yeah.
But back in the old days, it was a lot more championship based because that's really the only way you got some fame is winning rings and being on
Yeah, but see,
championship
but
teams
see,
because
yeah.
the money wasn't the same.
Yes, the money wasn't the same also, but you didn't get the exposure. I mean, literally right now, there's more exposure or more opportunities for exposure for these players. So you don't think about it, okay? Right? When we talk about championship teams, we can talk about Rambis, right? Everybody knows who Kurt Rambis is because he played on the Lakers and the Lakers were winning because they were on TV in June. Now, Ant hasn't won anything, but we know who he is. Right? We can name a bunch of other people. Gord, what's his name? The guy who plays in Denver.
Jokic.
Not Jokic, the guard.
Jamal Murray.
Yeah. You know, has he won anything? But we know who he is.
Yes, he's won one thing.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I mean,
But we knew who people were even back
before
then.
that.
no,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, but
But
there's more
yes.
opportunity.
But, and
now.
here's the other thing, and that's a good point because
Mhm.
now players have look at Angel Reese.
Platforms.
She has a platform. If she stopped playing basketball tomorrow, which a lot of people want her to do, she still is going to be famous.
Yeah.
She's going to be
successful.
rich
Yeah.
and successful because of her platform.
Yeah.
Now, her platform only came because of basketball. All these dudes now that have podcasts,
Yeah.
they got their podcast because of how good they were in their sport.
Right.
But they've got other interests.
Mhm.
You know, Draymond Green, right? Think about this. When they were playing, when it was Warriors and Cavaliers,
Yeah.
and remember him and LeBron looked like they hated each other. Remember he kicked LeBron?
Yeah, he did.
But in the offseason, he signed with Clutch Sports.
Yeah.
They're boys.
Mhm.
And so the whole media thing that LeBron was doing, Draymond is now doing the same thing.
Yep.
Draymond knows now that he's going to have a media career after basketball, right? But he went from not a thug mentality, not a but he was the enforcer.
Yeah, so you were saying that the exposure, the platform, and how the name
Draymond and
Yeah.
just his whole.
Yeah, so he's
So they still played against each other. When they play against each other, they still battling.
Yeah.
But they're friends off the court. They got business ventures together. And again, that's stuff that wasn't happening
Right.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And I also feel like back in the day, more players were acceptance of their role as opposed to now. Like, I'm not trying to be the sixth man of the year with this team if I can start on this team.
Maybe.
To help this team win a
that's-
championship,
no,
like I
that-
could be
that-
the missing piece. But like you said, I want my money. And I want to showcase that I still have it
Well,
for
that's-
another contract.
I'll say that that's a point, but I say that always existed because that's why people would leave. Right, back in the day, because you'd be like, why is Derek Mason leaving the Knicks?
Right. But I think back then your seventh
Yeah.
player, your seventh best player didn't have as much leverage back in the day as opposed to now.
I don't know if they got.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they have leverage. I think they have more opportunity to leave.
Okay.
Because, like I said, when you leverage, that means I'm in a position to say you can dictate. You talking owners and billionaires. You can dictate if you want, but you might wind up someplace you don't want to be, like Charlotte or Washington, or maybe a team in Seattle that don't exist.
But again, you might not want to be there, but you still getting paid.
Yeah,
right.
And so it's not like you're leaving somewhere
Mhm.
to go play for nothing.
But see,
Yeah.
that's the whole
Right.
point, though. See, but some players, if you are an alpha player, you don't want to go those places
Right.
because now you're out of the spotlight. You're not on TV, so your platform suffers.
And that maybe
Your
not what you're
advertising-
accustomed to if you
Yeah.
came from college winning.
Well, but that's what we will find out. For example, with Melo,
Yeah.
his
Hold on, Melo. Love Melo. Okay.
love Melo. So I want to say it's still true. So when you first sign, it's like a 4-year deal,
Right.
Yeah, it is.
and then you're eligible for the big contract, which is usually 3 more years.
Mhm.
In the history of the NBA, I know this was a stat that nobody had ever turned
Turn down
down
their second
that
contract.
second contract because you can make so much more money
Yep.
than going anywhere else. So LaMelo, I think personally that he wants to be on a big market team.
Okay.
I don't know the guy, I haven't talked to him,
Mhm.
but just personality wise, I think he would rather be in an LA or a New York. Don't know that for sure. But even with that, he could have left Charlotte
Right.
after his rookie deal was up, but he didn't. He stayed for that extra now the time will tell. It'll tell whether when that contract is up and he can go anywhere he wants, does he stay where he can make more money, or does he go where there's another market, or does he go where
He can win.
he can win? Because he's got three options. If he stays in Charlotte, he'll make more money. He'll be the top dog, but they're probably not going to win. Let's say he went to Minnesota, right? He's not going to be the top dog, but they got a better shot of winning.
with him.
Okay.
Alongside him.
Exactly.
Right.
Or he could go to Denver, play with Joker, and have a legit shot of winning the championship. And maybe they can't pay him as much. So we'll get to figure out where his mentality is based on where these free agents go.
So, based off of high quality talent and big names, what has history told us? What do they normally do?
Okay, normally what they do is they take the money. That's what they do because you got to strike when the iron's hot. So after they take the money, then they go, okay, I'm in my third year. You'll see a trade and they'll want to go to a team that has a chance of getting a chip. Because again, everybody wants the ring, but you got to get your money first sometimes. That's normally what happens. And that's in all sports. Like,
Okay.
oh, I'm gonna take my max deal because I got to get my money. Now, once I get my money, then it becomes because like Charles Barkley, right? Toward the end of his career, he was like, I'm trying to get a ring.
Yep.
I need to get a ring to solidify all the things that I've done because us as fans, when we start talking about who is really good, that's one of the
That's our rings,
that's
right.
one of the metrics.
And that's crazy too. But you brought Barkley up because he's one of the main ones talking about people moving, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But people forget that he did the same thing.
Yeah, he went from
He went to
the
Houston
Suns.
to team up with Hakeem
Yeah.
and Scottie Pippen, right?
Yeah.
To try to get a big three before that was even a thing. And then he would say, "Well, we were all old. It don't matter. You were trying to win a championship." Look, Karl Malone,
Yeah.
Gary Payton,
Yep, went to the Lakers.
went to the Lakers. Trying to Dwight Howard
Yep.
and Steve Nash went to the Lakers
Right.
because you try to get one when you can get it. And if you think you can latch on to Kobe and get one, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot.
And based off what you said earlier, I think we'll start seeing more player options within contracts. Like I tried out for a year or two, but after that, I'm trying to leave.
Well,
my
you can
third
try.
year.
Well, but here's the thing: those player options can sometimes hurt your money.
It can.
When you get the guaranteed deal, you know at least you're gonna get the money.
Yeah.
You do that player option, and you have a bad year,
Mm-hmm.
and that money might not be there where you thought it was, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the big names, you never have to worry about them. They're always going to get theirs. It's the second and third tier dudes
Yep.
that are okay. I got to make sure I have a job. Number one,
Yep.
I got to make sure my contract is secure for my family.
Mhm.
Now, again, it's bonus if I end up on a great team, but hey, if you tell me I'm going to the Wizards and I'm gonna be, the seventh guy,
Okay.
but I'm still making 50 million,
Taking it.
hey, I'm good with that.
I'll sit on the bench.
If you want to tell me I can go to, OKC,
Mhm.
sit on the
Some
bench,
vets, yeah,
and you're gonna give
get
me,
better.
the NBA veteran minimum, I got a family to feed.
Yeah.
Yes, they're the favorite to win the whole thing.
Right. But I'm
Like,
over there.
hey,
Them checks don't hit the same.
I'm not gonna get to play. I'm not gonna make the money, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna get a ring. Okay, that's cool.
But
I take my chances with this money.
I don't get to buy a new car every week.
Exactly.
I need it. I need it.
I'm buying. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I might have to take.
Different, when you try to compare the old days to now,
Yeah.
it's just
So
different.
much evolution.
And
so much
everybody
change.
back in the old days
Well, it's different.
is envious because they wish they had the opportunities these guys have.
Yep.
Can they say, yeah, we wish you honored the game more by playing hard in the All-Star game? Sure, you can say that. But
Everybody trying to get
given the opportunities that they have, would you be going all out like maybe you would, maybe you
Right.
wouldn't?
Well, no, I mean, well, I mean, like I said, they take better care of their bodies, so on and so forth. But like I said, the progress is to move forward, not to go back.
Yep. Yep.
You know, you figure you clothesline Wimby, he might shatter.
Yeah.
We can't have that. Because he's a star. But again, you pay to watch the stars, you don't pay to see the stars get hurt.
Exactly.
You know, so but again, all games and all sports move forward, better technology, better training, better this. And of course, with that, more money.
Yeah.
You know,
And the
that's-
money's crazy.
the money's
I mean, and
insane.
it's
only
just
gonna
keep-
get worse.
It is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I've never seen anybody negotiate it for less money.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not that. So
Yeah. But when the money is so great, it's hard to be hungry.
It's hard not.
When you know what I'm saying? It's hard to be like, I'm gonna kill you
Yeah.
when I'm so comfortable.
Man, they
Right?
throwing me this money.
These dudes are so comfortable.
I got to average 25 points per game. You can't guard me. I'm cool. I'm not finna beef with you.
Yeah.
Not finna beef with you.
here's what you're doing. Let me get my 20. Look, I'm gonna let you get 26. I'm gonna get 25. We both gonna get this money. We all gonna eat. Just make it look good.
Yeah.
And that's
Play
what-
hard.
Just play well, I mean, I don't think it's not, again, we've already had this discussion.
We have.
We don't think that it's not that they don't play hard. It's just that they're more skilled, more athletic. Again, that just
And
And
it
it
looks
looks different.
different.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it looks different. And again, you're looking at, like I said, something we'll talk about in the future is, again, it's position changing. I mean, your center plays out on the wing, for God's sake.
Then they're
Shooting
point
threes,
forward at this point.
so I mean, you got a 7-foot dude bringing the ball up,
We want to see that.
and not only is he dunking, but he's shooting fadeaway threes in the corner.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, these are things that they wanted to do back in the day that Chuck Daly said, you're a center.
Yeah.
You're a guard. You're going to pass it into him.
Yep.
You're going to pass it back out. You're going to pass it back in. You're going to dribble twice and you're going to dunk.
Mhm.
But again, things have changed. The
It
money's
has.
changed. The athletes have changed. The diets, the food they eat's changed. And Steve Smith has changed. But anyway, it's not talk another day.
Wow.
Maybe you'll come punch me in my face. No, I'm just kidding. Don't punch me.
I mean, we could use some more equipment. So
I get punched. I'm suing.
yeah, exactly.
Break my jaw, baby. I'm just
Oh,
kidding. Don't hit
man.
me. But yeah, again, a lot of things have changed. Like I said, with that, we're gonna bring this episode to a close. Like I said, we hopefully won't have any more caviar dreams and champagne wishes, because some people just be sitting on stacks all day. Other people, the poor unfortunates, we just get to go home and do nothing.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, we got to sign off on this. And again, we'll get more consistent as we get our schedules from flying across the countries and worlds and eating caviar straight. So like I said, again, the Novice Sports Show, a show where three guys came together organically to talk about sports from a novice point of view. Please like, share, subscribe, help us grow the channel organically. Because remember, when we hit it big, we're going to remember the little people. And again, to our 25th subscriber, thank you. I don't know who you were, but thank you. So we're going to sign off on that note.
AJ.
Jay,
And A-Dub,
peace.
y'all enjoy yourselves.